And let's check out this box and see if it's better than your mother's.
This box better than the box he was held in.
So, first thing we notice about this is that this is PunkJack, and we have some cool, and once again, this is not a render, that is the actual photo of the action figure. So that's always impressive when we get photos of the toys on the box and not renders. So kudos to SH Figuarts. But the same complaint I had with the Kamen Rider Geats and with the boost mode and with the Magnum mode is that these things you have to buy separate pieces so that you can mix and match. I don't know if that's a complaint necessarily, just more of an annoyance, but anyway, let's check it out. Nothing on the side, showing all the figures and all the combinations you can do in the back. As you can see, popping the head off and adding different figures can get you different combinations for your action figure. I don't read any Japanese, but I'm assuming that's what they're saying, as I do have Magnum and the boost, and now I have this mode. So I guess I only need one more and you can have the full set. And there is the zombie form that I have that I will probably get to eventually. I'm just in the process of cleaning all the stuff off the floor so that this toy room is less of a mess and more organized. Another photo on the side, and that's that. This is, let's see if anything on the bottom. Nope. This is a plain Jane box, nothing to be excited about. Yeah, this is definitely not better than your mom's, but it's a decent box. Okay, yeah, I'm underwhelmed. I really want to be excited when I see a box. I want to say, oh my god, this is a toy, and I want to play with it. And it's kind of like, oh yeah, this thing's in here, cool. Anyway, let's do what we normally do and find out what's in the box. So I'm super excited by what's in the box this time. Normally when I get open the box and I'm like, they gave me a little bit of stuff, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm super excited. But this is a whole bunch of stuff, and I don't know what I was expecting when I bought this. And maybe if I read Japanese, it would be helpful, but this is a whole bunch of stuff. I'm super excited to have it. Yeah, I'm not gonna take it apart now because I know it will all fall apart. But as you can see, we have the PunkJack driver, the Monster Form driver, we have the PunkJack driver, we have the body for it, we have the underjaw for each one for black, different visors, black and red. Wow, this is actually a really good set. I think it was a little bit expensive. If you bought it from Bandai Direct during the pre-order period, it's not so bad. The $15 for shipping is a pain in the butt, and you can't combine it with anything. But in general, this is actually not that bad of a mix. Let's get it out the box, and first let's check on that, how well it can pose, and then we'll check out all these accessories that came in the box and how they play together. So time tagging in, because we need to make sure that we can actually show this in its proper fullness. They put gloves over the gauntlets, so I guess they come off so they don't fall. That's fine. Plastic around the waist to make sure that we don't get any rub, because these pieces do come off. Excuse me. Bye-bye. Okay. I get it. We don't want it to rub, but Jesus. Just tell me you don't want me to play with the toy, guys. Just tell me you don't want me to play with the toy, and I won't. Okay. So let's attach you back. There we go. Now let's see. Can you T-pose? Kind of, sort of, but not really. This is the PK meter pose. Like I said, I prefer if the things get out the way. I don't know if they can. Normally, they do a really good job, but I'm assuming they made the same assumption that the people who originally made the costume is that with the helmet and the shoulder blades, he's not going to give it up. So I'm going to give it a pass because I think that's more of a costume thing and not necessarily the action figure's fault why he can't get into a full T pose. Can it look up? No, it cannot. The way the ball peg is, I can look completely down, but I cannot look up only so much. I don't know if that's something that SH Figure has decided that their characters never look up, but none of these toys can look up. This is the same problem I had with Geets. Can he sit? While I was trying to get him in a sitting pose, his hips disconnected, which is annoying for anyone who's trying to get him to sit. And he can sit. I'm not. Now the question is, can he sit with his belt on? I'm not sure, but he is sitting now. So he is getting past level 1, even though the PK meter pose shouldn't get you past it. Not so bad. Let's see if you can do some more dynamic poses outside of that. Now I have to reattach you. Thank you so much for making my life difficult. Now, I guess that's the question is, can you get into more dynamic poses, seeing that this thing has hip issues that are kind of locked into place because the hip is really attached to the... So, can we get the legs up? Nope. This is probably, I can get him to kick, but this is not really the best dynamic kick you can get. Not a fan of this pose. The legs, especially because of the way the toy is set up, we're looking at some really floppiness because of the head. He's really top heavy. There's nothing on the bottom supporting him, so he's going to be really loosey-goosey. If you get him on stand, maybe he'll be fine, but not good because of the way his body is shaped. He's also, the way his body is shaped, he's not getting a really dynamic kick, where we have other toys where, especially something like this, I would expect him to be able to get into like the rider kick easily. And see, they adjust the hips for the rider kick, which is fine, but we're not getting him to do more dynamic poses. Let's see, can he do some regular fighting stances? Yes. He's not going to get much articulation out of the waist because his waist is hindered by the belt. It's a completely separate piece and is meant to do that so you can separate it. So you're not going to see him do, a superhero pose, the superhero landing pose where he can get down, but because the way his hip is set up, he is not going to be able to get that arm to the ground without some real coaxing. But he can do some fairly decent poses because he has drop hips. Well, he doesn't have drop hips. He just has really dynamic hips. Oh, they're drop. He has drop hips. He has double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, all pinless, toe articulation. Yeah, this is a fairly decent toy in that regard. He is getting into decent poses. Not the best poses that I've seen, but not even for a Figuarts. This is actually fairly basic for Figuarts posing. I wish he had a little bit more range in his thing. I say he probably can get past most of the level 2 poses. He's not hindered by anything other than his hip, so he won't be able, and his torso won't be able to get into deeper poses. Can he get his knees above his hip so he can do a backflip? He cannot, and that's because this piece right here is hindering the motion up, so he cannot get into a backflip motion. He cannot get his knees above his waist. He can't get past level 2. You can get him in decent poses, but you're not gonna. You can get him to, for example, you can get him to his rider kick pose, which I guess that's what most people want, which is fine. And they really did a really good job designing the hips so that he can do that, but he cannot get his hips above his, he can't get his knees Oh, you can, but that's not how people do flips. Those knees go up higher to do a flip. So kind of, sort of. I say he can get past level 2 and with some finagling, he can get him past level 2 to do different positions, but he's definitely doesn't have the dexterity to do any super dynamic poses like the hero pose. Let's see, can he do a Kamehameha? Nope, his shoulders are hindered by all this armor, so he can't do a Kamehameha wave, or at least not a decent one. Can't do a decent one. Like I said, if you can get him to do most of the poses at a level 2 where it's not just simple things like looking up or just standing on your shelf prone like this, most people will be happy, but you're not going to be able to do the most dynamic poses with this action figure. Now, to talk about style. This toy is oozing style. I love the design of the monster form, especially because of the way the helmet's designed. So let's take that off and look at it. You sit here, right? So to take this apart, you pull off the back, right? And then you end up with your front of your visor. You take off the back of the helmet if you want, but you don't need to. You end up with this part of the helmet. You can take off the mouth plate. And you can take off the visor, so you can add different colors. You can add, and they gave you a whole bevy of accessories. Yep, I'm sorry guys, I'm taking the plastic off the other form so that way I can see how the posing is on this. And like I suspected, thank you so much for having so much plastic in there so that, yes, I know you don't want it to rub, but I also can't get it out. So now I have plastic just sitting in the toy. Anyway, so what I suspected was the other toy. As you can see, perfect T-pose. The shoulders on the other toy does hinder it, but once again, they give you the option to build this however you want. Just in case that was getting in your way, you can take it off. But you can separate the torso, put this torso on it. Like I said, they split at the hip. And that hinders how well the toy actually poses, because you lose a lot of waist articulation by breaking up the scope here in this area. So you have some good upper torso articulation, but the waist is limited to kind of twisting because of that. And you get some really good, you get a decent upper torso movement, no ab crunch. And like I said, that's basically because your hips are fixed in place because of the fact that they're not as dynamic as you wanted to, because you want to be able to switch up your character. But let's switch out some of the features. I'm not switching forms. It's really simple. So we take this and we take this piece on the bottom. You slot this in. You take this, you slide it into the faceplate. Or actually, other way around. Slide it into the faceplate. Slide you back into place. And we close you. Slowly slowly, surely, so we don't break the pieces. And voila, completely different head. So that you can add it to, say for example, this body. So, and we can always take you off and actually finish this figure. There we go. And there we go. Once again, the fact that when I opened up the box, I was surprised by the amount of accessories that came with it is a win for me. I really like this action figure. I feel less gypped than I did when I got Geats and I had the Magnum Boost form and the Boost Magnum form with the Fever accessories. I feel that this is a much more complete set. This is what you expected. I didn't get the other set for the Afrobeat, not Afrobeat, that's funny. For the PunkJack set with the female body, I now wish I did, because I think that would be a really cool set to have together, especially with this body. I think I just got this because I really like the head. It reminds me a lot of Samurai Jack, not Samurai Jack, Afro Samurai. Also reminded me a lot of the Umbrella Academy. So I was like, okay, this would be cool regardless of what it is. But this is actually a really cool action figure. And once I get some more room and I can actually have room to display all my S.H. Figuarts, this is definitely going up there. I might not be displaying all my Kamen Rider, but this is definitely something that will go up there. Now, is it worth the money? If you're a fan of... Absolutely. I think this is probably one of the sets that even if you don't get either the boost form or the Magnum Boost form, if you get one or the other, you probably want to get this and add it to your collection just so that you can have another set of bodies. And because you get two of them versus a leg and a body that you get with Geeks, this is definitely a set that you want, and you get so many different vibes that goes along with it. This is definitely a must. I say go get this. Go get it now. That's it for me. I'll check you out on the next video.